It's an unbelievable feeling, actually. I have my speech in my pocket because it's been 12 years. It's been 12 years since I first came onto this and optioned the project to produce and direct, and I started writing it in 2010. So that's 8 years. Yeah. So it's a long time, and I cast Matt Smith 5 years ago. Ups and downs, and like not knowing if it was going to happen. Then it was happening. I was at the altar. Then it was back, and me and Nate and Eliza Dushku just hung in there for a decade, basically, trying to make this happen. So to be here tonight is just, it is surreal. There's no way to actually describe it. Well, Robert Mapplethorpe is the most uncompromising artist in our history, really. He's a cultural lightning rod and a hero among artists because he did something that people would never imagine. He took on turning gay culture and even photography into an art form, right? He filmed and photographed S&M and images of gay underground life at a time that it was not like today. It was really deemed obscene. And he turned it into Greek and Roman sculpture. And he made it classic, and he made it beautiful, and he made it acceptable. And in that way, he found love for himself, but he also changed history. So he's a very important figure, and I, as an artist, have always loved it. Like my last film was about Russell Brand, A Second Coming. I love telling stories about uncompromising. I call them impossible visionaries, people who can't help but do what they do, and they do it against all odds. And Robert fit that mold entirely. So it's a scripted film. I wrote it and directed it and produced it and edited it. So it's very different to shoot it in 19 days instead of 7 years or 5 years. I mean, I wrote 58 drafts, but then I had 19 days to shoot it. So it's a very different thing. I'm working with the actors, and I mean, it's really I would say it's a more collaborative process because there's a bigger team involved, and it's special. It's really special. Everybody brings, Jonah Markowitz, who was on the red carpet, I felt like, I don't know where he is now, our production designer, Nancy Schreiber, our DP, and Matt Smith, of course, our star, and the entire cast was so brought their A game in those 19 days under so much pressure and so much stress in like 35 locations. So it was really quite something to work with all of them and to see them supporting my vision in that way, and for that vision to kind of morph and change and evolve through their own art. It was beautiful. So I'll do many more, I hope. Yeah, I love it. It's fun. My son, I'm watching him like leave. Sucks. Why do I pay attention to everything else? See, that's the thing about being a documentary filmmaker. You have eyes everywhere. You're just constantly watching everything. So, well, Tribeca supported us since 2012. So I'll say it again. Tribeca supported us since 2012 when they invited me to the Tribeca All Access program, gave us a grant, invited us to come and meet industry, supported this film at a time that actually James Franco was attached to star. I had never proven that I could make this kind of film, and they believed in me then. So to bring it home here is, it's as special as if I brought it to Sundance, really. It's like the other group that supported us was Sundance, so Sundance and Tribeca. And so to come here to New York in the spring is it's beautiful. I'm back to the town that Robert Mapplethorpe first walked the streets as a photographer in 1968, and we're here with the Robert Mapplethorpe Foundation. I mean, it's a beautiful, cathartic moment to come back. They believed in us for a decade in getting this made, and I felt him next to me when I was writing the script. So bringing it home to his town to premiere it's pretty important. Yeah, it's pretty beautiful. I watched Duck Butter and I watched The Bleeding Edge already, and I'll be here until Saturday. I hope to watch a lot more. The festival has a stellar lineup this year, and this festival was built and created to prove that Tribeca was not going to fold in the wake of 9/11. And that kind of, the people that behind this festival, Jane Rosenthal and Bob De Niro, these are great human beings. So it's just an absolute honor and a privilege. I'm on the jury this year too. So I just had so much fun. It's ridiculous.